Paris is burning with excitement, and the fashion world will never be the same again. Something legendary just happened on the streets of the most romantic city on Earth, and the numbers are finally in to prove it. For years, we have seen the rise of global icons, but what went down during the Paris Fashion Week Fall-Winter 2026 season has officially rewritten the history books. We are talking about a total takeover that left industry veterans speechless and social media servers struggling to keep up. Two names are currently echoing from the Louvre to the Eiffel Tower, and if you are a fan of world-class talent, then you already know who we are talking about. But do you know the actual scale of their dominance? The data from Onclusive has just dropped, and it is more explosive than anyone could have imagined. The City of Lights became the City of Stray Kids. While the entire globe was watching the latest trends from the biggest luxury houses, one specific group was busy claiming the throne. It was not just a visit, it was a conquest. We are diving deep into the staggering statistics that put Felix and Hyunjin at the very top of the food chain during one of the most competitive fashion events in existence. This is not just about looking good in expensive clothes. This is about raw power, influence, and a fandom that moves like a tidal wave. Get ready because the details of this Fashion Week dominance are about to blow your mind and prove once and for all why these two are the undisputed kings of the fourth generation and beyond. Imagine the atmosphere in Paris during the peak of Fashion Month. The air is thick with the scent of luxury perfumes, the sound of camera shutters clicking like rapid fire, and the electric energy of thousands of fans waiting behind barricades for just a glimpse of their idols. This was the stage for the Fall-Winter 2026 collections, where every major celebrity on the planet was fighting for a shred of the spotlight. From Hollywood A-listers to legendary supermodels, everyone was there to make a statement. But according to the latest data report from Onclusive, the conversation was being driven by two specific stars who turned the sidewalk into their personal runway. The data reveals that Felix and Hyunjin were the top two most mentioned K-pop celebrities on social media throughout the entire event. Think about the hundreds of idols who attended. Think about the massive groups and soloists who were present. Despite the heavy competition, Felix walked away with a massive 2.9% share of voice, while Hyunjin commanded a powerful 1.1%. While those numbers might seem small to a casual observer, in the world of global data analytics, a share of voice that high amidst millions of mentions is absolute insanity. They did not just participate in the conversation, they were the conversation. Let us break down the journey of Felix at Louis Vuitton, because that was a moment for the history books. When the sunshine of Stray Kids arrived at the Louis Vuitton show, it felt like time stopped. He was not just a guest, he was the main event. Dressed in a look that perfectly balanced high fashion edge with his ethereal visual, Felix looked like he stepped out of a fantasy novel. The fan response on Twitter was nothing short of a meltdown. One fan wrote that they forgot how to breathe the moment the first preview photos hit the timeline. Another mentioned that Felix doesn't just wear Louis Vuitton, he embodies the very soul of the brand. The hashtag Felix at Louis Vuitton stayed trending for hours, and every single post was filled with thousands of retweets and likes. Netizens could not stop talking about his duality. One moment he's giving the most intense high fashion stare that could cut through glass, and the next he's flashing that warm, heart-melting smile at the fans who waited hours in the cold just to see him. This connection with the fans is exactly what fuels that 2.9% share of voice. It is a level of engagement that brands dream of. People were not just posting his photo, they were analyzing his makeup, his hair, the way the fabric moved as he walked. It was a masterclass in global stardom. Then we have the Prince of Dior himself, Hyunjin. If Felix was the ethereal fire, then Hyunjin was the cooling elegance that redefined what it meant to be a fashion icon. His appearance at the Dior show was the definition of majestic. Netizens were quick to point out that he looked like the leading man of an Austen-inspired rom-com, but with a modern, sharp twist. The way he carried himself with such grace and poise had everyone calling him the visual king of the century. One viral tweet with over 50,000 likes simply said that Dior was made for Hyunjin and Hyunjin was made for Dior. The social media frenzy surrounding Hyunjin was intense. Fans were tracking his every move from the moment he landed at the airport to his arrival at the venue. The way he interacted with the creative directors and other global stars showed a level of maturity and professionalism that solidifies his place in the high fashion world. Netizens noted that even among some of the biggest names in Hollywood, Hyunjin never lost his shine. In fact, he seemed to be the one everyone was trying to get a photo with. His 1.1% share of voice is a testament to a dedicated fan base that treats every one of his appearances like a global holiday. But why does this matter so much? Why are these percentages from Onclusive such a big deal? It is because the fashion industry has undergone a massive shift. It is no longer just about the clothes on the runway. It is about who can generate the most digital heat.
Brands like Louis Vuitton and Dior are looking for stars who can bridge the gap between traditional luxury and the hyper-connected Gen Z audience. Felix and Hyunjin are the perfect bridge. They bring a level of passion and loyalty that is unmatched. When they show up, the internet reacts. When they wear a piece of clothing, it sells out. When they are mentioned, the metrics skyrocket. The rivalry of fashion houses is real, but in this case, it was a win-win for everyone involved. Seeing both members of the same group dominate the rankings like this is incredibly rare. It speaks volumes about the individual branding of each member and the collective power of Stray Kids. They are not just idols anymore, they are global cultural icons. Netizens on various forums have been discussing how Stray Kids has managed to penetrate the fashion world so deeply. Some say it's their unique visuals, while others argue it's their authentic personalities that make fans want to support them in everything they do. Let us talk about the viral moments that contributed to these numbers. There was that one clip of Felix interacting with other celebrities where his deep voice literally sent shockwaves through the fandom. Then there was the moment Hyunjin was seen effortlessly navigating through a sea of photographers, looking like he was born for the spotlight. These snippets are what turn into memes, what get edited into high-energy TikToks, and what ultimately drive the share of voice. The fandom known as Stay is famously organized and passionate. They know how to stream, they know how to vote, and they definitely know how to make their favorites trend. One netizen commented that they have never seen a group have this much impact on a single fashion week. It felt like every time you opened an app, you saw either Felix or Hyunjin. Even people who are not into K-pop were asking who these stylish men were. That's the true power of crossing over into the mainstream. They are attracting new eyes to the genre and to the brands they represent. The 2.9% and 1.1% figures are a reflection of millions of individual actions, fans typing their names, sharing their photos, and celebrating their success. It is also worth noting the other stars who were in the mix. While names like Lisa and Rose from Blackpink, or stars from the Thai entertainment industry like Ling Ling Kwang and Orm Kornapafat were also making huge waves, Felix and Hyunjin managed to carve out a massive piece of the pie for the male K-pop category. This highlights a growing trend where male idols are becoming just as influential in the fashion space as their female counterparts. The narrative used to be dominated by girl groups, but Stray Kids is leading the charge in changing that perception. The storytelling of this fashion week was not just about the shows, it was about the journey. Fans felt like they were right there in Paris with them. Through the behind-the-scenes vlogs, the Instagram stories, and the candid fan-taken photos, the experience was immersive. When Felix posted a photo of the Parisian skyline, fans felt the romance. When Hyunjin shared a glimpse of his Dior fitting, fans felt the prestige. This level of intimacy is what builds a share of voice that lasts long after the models have left the runway. As we look at these rankings, it's clear that the influence of K-pop is not slowing down, it is evolving. It is becoming more integrated into the global luxury ecosystem. Felix at Louis Vuitton and Hyunjin at Dior are not just one-off appearances, they are long-term partnerships that are yielding massive returns.
Paris is burning with excitement, and the fashion world will never be the same again. Something legendary just happened on the streets of the most romantic city on Earth, and the numbers are finally in to prove it. For years, we have seen the rise of global icons, but what went down during the Paris Fashion Week Fall-Winter 2026 season has officially rewritten the history books. We are talking about a total takeover that left industry veterans speechless and social media servers struggling to keep up. Two names are currently echoing from the Louvre to the Eiffel Tower, and if you are a fan of world-class talent, then you already know who we are talking about. But do you know the actual scale of their dominance? The data from Onclusive has just dropped, and it is more explosive than anyone could have imagined. The City of Lights became the City of Stray Kids. While the entire globe was watching the latest trends from the biggest luxury houses, one specific group was busy claiming the throne. It was not just a visit, it was a conquest. We are diving deep into the staggering statistics that put Felix and Hyunjin at the very top of the food chain during one of the most competitive fashion events in existence. This is not just about looking good in expensive clothes. This is about raw power, influence, and a fandom that moves like a tidal wave. Get ready because the details of this Fashion Week dominance are about to blow your mind and prove once and for all why these two are the undisputed kings of the fourth generation and beyond. Imagine the atmosphere in Paris during the peak of Fashion Month. The air is thick with the scent of luxury perfumes, the sound of camera shutters clicking like rapid fire, and the electric energy of thousands of fans waiting behind barricades for just a glimpse of their idols. This was the stage for the Fall-Winter 2026 collections, where every major celebrity on the planet was fighting for a shred of the spotlight. From Hollywood A-listers to legendary supermodels, everyone was there to make a statement. But according to the latest data report from Onclusive, the conversation was being driven by two specific stars who turned the sidewalk into their personal runway. The data reveals that Felix and Hyunjin were the top two most mentioned K-pop celebrities on social media throughout the entire event. Think about the hundreds of idols who attended. Think about the massive groups and soloists who were present.
Despite the heavy competition, Felix walked away with a massive 2.9% share of voice, while Hyunjin commanded a powerful 1.1%. While those numbers might seem small to a casual observer, in the world of global data analytics, a share of voice that high amidst millions of mentions is absolute insanity. They did not just participate in the conversation, they were the conversation. Let us break down the journey of Felix at Louis Vuitton, because that was a moment for the history books. When the sunshine of Stray Kids arrived at the Louis Vuitton show, it felt like time stopped. He was not just a guest, he was the main event. Dressed in a look that perfectly balanced high fashion edge with his ethereal visual, Felix looked like he stepped out of a fantasy novel. The fan response on Twitter was nothing short of a meltdown. One fan wrote that they forgot how to breathe the moment the first preview photos hit the timeline. Another mentioned that Felix doesn't just wear Louis Vuitton, he embodies the very soul of the brand. The hashtag Felix at Louis Vuitton stayed trending for hours, and every single post was filled with thousands of retweets and likes.